Okay, I think we can get started. Let me start out by maybe introduce myself, but even before that, I do that. Awesome job, guys. I mean, I cannot say enough. It was a really cool project, got me very interested, but we'll talk more about that. To introduce myself, my name is Shami A, and I'm a magic mentor for past 5 years, I think now, or 6 years. I don't know, lost count, and a magic board member. I work in the Bay Area, live and work in the Bay Area, and handing it over to Leah to introduce yourself.
Sure. Hey, my name is Leah, and I am a software engineer at Kepler Group, and I currently live in North Jersey, which is near New York City, where I work.
Thank you, Leah. Ananya?
My name is Ananya Krishnan. I'm currently a rising senior at Tesla STEM High School in Redmond, Washington.
All right. Again, very cool project. Very impressive. So let's start out with Ananya. What inspired you to pick that project?
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, for me, this is I had a list of 8 projects, but this was one of the 2 that I thought would actually have a practical application in the real world, and have the opportunity to benefit somebody's life. So for me, I am a huge fan of like police investigations and like forensics and stuff like that. So this was something I thought would have an application in that particular field. I thought that this would be very useful to use in a CCTV footage recording or some kind of other identification source for, if you're seeing a suspect and you want to identify them with utmost accuracy. I think this would be a great way to implement the algorithm that I came up with. So yeah, that's what inspired me.
Yeah, that was the coolest part. And I kind of related to that immediately because I think I grew up maybe 5th grade, starting with Enid Blyton's and all the way to Agatha Christie, and then watching all the possible crime shows. I'm like, yeah, that works. So that was pretty cool. So Leah, how was it for you during this mentoring session, considering it was pretty short for a summer because it's not our usual session and remote? So how did that work out for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've done 2 previous mentorships that were in the winter. So this was my first chance doing something in the summer. I was definitely nervous in the beginning, given how little time we had, and given how ambitious the project was, especially, I think, both of us were learning along the way. It's not like I have much background in machine learning, but Ananya really, was able to forge ahead and like do the necessary research and build something that I think is really cool. We literally did the blurring portion only, in our very last session. But it was definitely exciting to see it come to life.
Great. So Ananya, I know there must have been a lot of challenges. As you mentioned, there was a lot of research that you had to do, but let's talk about the fun parts first. What was the most fun part for you?
I think the fun part was like part of my research. I think, of course, seeing the whole thing run. I mean, obviously I didn't get to develop to the point that I wanted to, but like seeing the blurring recognition finally work was the best part. But I think that another fun part was, this is something that I've wanted to learn about for a long time. And, with school and everything, I don't always, feel inclined to go search it up, but this gave me an opportunity to go look into, what exactly is facial recognition? What do you put in? What do you get out? What kind of data is circulated? What is analyzed? And yeah, as humans, like I said, we always see those faces in the images as faces, but I got to learn how the machine views the faces and all of that. So I think that was really exciting to learn all of this. It really like opened my eyes to things that I didn't think were super important or even existent before I started this project.
Right. And then how did you really nail down the tools and the algorithms that you were going to use?
So I think that during our meetings, rather than actually working on the project, what Leah and I discussed was what should be we built it like step by step, what would be the most logical step to do after this, what would the algorithm do after this, all building up to that final product that we wanted to. So I think a lot of that was nailed down while we were discussing and making out a plan for what would give us the end result we desired.
Okay. And Leah, for you, you mentioned that this was also not a familiar topic for you. What were some of the challenges that you faced?
I would say working together while we're both kind of stuck and trying to figure out a path forward, so it's like you need to learn and teach at the same time, which was definitely challenging but also exciting. Just being able to figure things out together, and then like Ananya said, getting it to see it working is at the end is thrilling.
Right. So what other practical applications do you see, Ananya?
When I focus this just on this particular field, but I think that this might be helpful not only just with human faces. This is like a really, of course, like far-reaching, like ambitious application. But I was thinking, if you have, scans of a brain, for example, and you see, if you're looking more at the skull for a fracture or something rather than the brain activity, you're looking at the features of a bone that's like, out of place, and you compare it to a normal brain. You compare those features and see which one matches and which one doesn't. The blurred part, doesn't match. I don't know if that is, reasonable, but that is definitely like a far-reaching, maybe definitely like a prospect to me, at least, with this algorithm.
Okay. I can think of a very maybe trivial, but maybe not familial practical application for it. I mean, I would love to know whether my daughter looks like me or my husband. So that would be a good way to figure out. There is technology telling you that she looks more like me, which I always claim, but maybe that's a good way to go also to diffuse some of those arguments at home, huh?
I like that.
So let's talk about the challenges now. So what were some of the challenges? What did you learn from that?
Okay, yeah. So for me, like Leah said, when both of us are stuck, and the biggest challenge is for us was debugging. Since we were both not super familiar with machine learning, it was not easy to look at it and instantly be like, this is where the bug is occurring. So we had to run it a couple of times, go on Stack Overflow, GitHub, and if usually the answer wasn't found there, so we needed to go back and do occasional print statements to print the results and see, hey, which face is it actually recognizing? Which way is it starting? Is it starting from left or right? Is it even printing properly, or is there a bug before that statement? So I think that was obviously, like, sometimes it would get frustrating, and I'm sure it happened to both of us because both of us were stuck, and it's not like one of us could tip the other on, this is the issue, because both of us were learning on the go. I think Leah helped a lot with that because she was super patient, super encouraging. She was like, there's never a point where I felt like I want to just, give up on the project. So it got a little frustrating in the middle when, we couldn't debug it fast, but it was really nice because in the process of debugging, I learned so much more about what exactly each piece of the code does, which Leah was, again, nice enough to actually sit down and explain to me. So yeah, I felt like even though it was a challenge, it was that much more helpful to me as a student.
Yeah, I mean, debugging, as you will start coding more and more and learning, and I'm sure Leah can attest to that, is probably the most important skill, more than knowing the languages and knowing this debug. If you know how to debug and acquire patience for that, it'll take you a long way. So good going on that. What's next on your STEM journey or magical journey?
For me, I would love to come back here actually after I graduate high school. I would love to come back here as an intern, or maybe if I'm, you know, experienced enough, a mentor or something like that. But for me, I definitely want to go into in college, the intended major for me, I want to hopefully end up getting either computer science or computer engineering, so I get to experience both the software and hardware aspect. I want to hopefully what I'm want to do in the future is work on refining artificial intelligence so that precision in everything. We humans rely a lot on, you know, technology and robots right now. So how we can make sure that precision is the most that it can be. I just want to work with refining AI and develop. Definitely, that's what I would like to do.
That is so awesome. And believe me, this is music to my ears to say that one of the mentees wants to come back as a mentor and be engaged with magic. So we would love to have you back, and wish you the very best on your STEM journey. And Leah, thank you so much for mentoring. You know that we are successful all because of your hard work and all the mentors that they do. So thank you so much for mentoring with us, and great job, both of you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.